Hey guys, it's Rob. 504 days until I turn 30. And today is going to be another writing topic. But let's go ahead and get the checkup out of the way, and then I'll tell you why I kind of look exhausted and flabbergasted. I don't know if that's the first word that came to me in this moment. Um, Weight is down 0.2 of a pound, and I think that's at the high end of my retention of additional content. So I think I actually am lower than that. I weighed in earlier this week about 2/3 of a pound lower than that at some point. So I have a feeling that's just a little additional mass going on somewhere. I haven't gotten with tinkering with my sub for Wordhaus yet because I wanted to get started on the short story project I'm doing that I'm going to sell. But I only got 892 words into that. And there's a reason for that, which is kind of the root of my topic. So that's where the checkup is. The short story project I'm working on has run me into an interesting writer problem, and it's the problem of the burden of some amount of factual accuracy if I want to tell the story I'm trying to tell. While I only have 892 words there as far as actual word count goes, I've spent some portion of the weekend looking up information on second and third degree burns and amputation, because there is a character in the story that I'm writing who, the way I had originally thought it up when I outlined the story, ultimately ends up an amputee. And so I'm trying to learn just enough about that process and about how burns result in amputation sometimes, that I do a reasonable service to the factual accuracy of that, such that if some medical professional or firefighter or someone who would be in the know about that were to read the story, they wouldn't be thrust out of suspension of disbelief about any given thing in the story, based on factual inaccuracies about the things that they do know. The story does take place some amount of time in the future, but I'm not imagining it being so far that modern medical information on that kind of stuff is going to be so outdated, or that I would, be making up future technology to deal with this and disregarding current medical science on the issue. But it's ending up being something that I got away without having to do a lot of during the young adult novel, because that was set in fantasy world with magic and everything, and so there wasn't any burden to be accurate to the rules of science, medicine, or any other particular thing other than just street smarts or everyday knowledge about how people generally are and how the world works, and then the rest of it I could just make up because fantasy. But I'm debating whether to alter the parts of the story that require this character to be in this condition, or whether to keep going as it is. It could be very powerful if I do it right, as opposed to taking some kind of shortcut where I'm making things up. I mean, maybe it's not a shortcut. I don't know. I'm kind of fighting with the thoughts here as I talk to you. But I'm wrestling with that because it's been very heavy reading, often sometimes with pictures included. So looking at burned limbs and stuff like that, but trying to find medical reference to that kind of stuff. And the weird part is that's like the actual medical information involved in the scene is not at all what the story's about. The story is about the person in the condition going through an experience later in the story, and at the same time I've got characters conversing about her state, and I don't want to have someone professional look at it and say, well, the timeline is all wrong for this, that, or the other part of the process, or she wouldn't be recovering this fast, etc. So things have gotten a little heavy, which is a change of pace, like I said, from the young adult novel, where it was, for some extensive part of it, wisecracking heroes and more fun and a more jovial kind of thing. But I guess the bottom line is I just wanted to communicate that it's an interesting sub-segment of this, trying to turn myself into a professional published writer that I'm running into, and that it's a problem I'm going to have to solve if I want to explore certain topics, or like, maybe solve's the wrong word. It's a problem I'm going to have to learn how to handle. Let's reframe one more time. It is a challenge I'm going to have to learn how to approach. I think that's the phrasing I want to use. Because sometimes you got to get your hands a little dirty to tell the story you want to tell. And I think that's what I'm going to have to do. But I'll also give some thought to writing around the stuff, so to speak, because like I said, the actual medical stuff is not core to the story. The character being in the state she's in is core to the story. Anyway, yeah, it's been meandering, but I guess that's also part of what I want to communicate, is that there's some wrestling with this. There's some chewing it over and trying to find out how to face it and approach it. But yeah, and it's tiring. I'm tired. There are bags under my eyes. So I'm going to try to get a proper night of sleep. Hopefully my mind won't take off and start sculpting creative things like it did last night and keeping me up till all odd hours. I'm trying to force myself to wake up at earlier in the morning than I have been, regardless of how much sleep I get, in hopes that my sleep cycle will get the message and forcibly adapt. That's all from me for tonight. Tomorrow is the big upcoming Ni no Kuni Super Stream, which should be happy, light, and jovial for a change of pace to what I've been working on. So I hope you'll consider coming for that. Details at the Twitch TV link below. And that's going to be all from me for now. Yeah. If you write yourself and you have any thoughts on the issue that I'm wrestling with there, please do leave them in the comments. Feedback's going to be appreciated on this one. Extra super special much. That's all from me for today. I will talk to you Thursday. Until then, have a great week.